Good evening, everyone. How are you? Nice to be back. I see Scott Guitars is in there. How are you doing there, Dan? Yes, good evening, everyone. Excuse me while I just take a swig. I know that's appalling, isn't it? Yes, indeed. Flake before you all say it. In my defence, it's not the best beer to be pouring. It's Carling. As I say, I'm on just a little bit of a kick to cut back a little bit. So what I'm doing is cutting back on the amount of alcohol in the beer rather than the amount of beer that goes into me. So how is everyone? Let's see who was first in this evening. Oh, David Evans, there you go. Hi, John. Hi, all. Who else we got in? Deco Dude, Johnny Random, Lee Morano, Sean House, Vince Brennan, Canadian in the UK, Ozzy's in. How are you, Ozzy? Colin Falcon, Dave Pegg, Bottleneck Bob. How are you, mate? Malcolm Spillett. Sorry I haven't been in touch, Malcolm. I've had the week from hell. I'll tell you all about it probably during the course of this coming hour. Right, who else we got in? Johnny Random, Dave Lewis, Michael Clark, Chris Ottewell, the Essex Cat, Jimmy James, Ian Clark, Ian Rouse, Scott Guitars, name checked you already, mate. How are you? Vince Bangs, how are you, Vince? Thomas Mulvaney, I do hope I pronounced that right, Mulvaney or Mulvaney, I'm not sure, but hopefully one of them was right. Pablo Hank, how are you, mate? Brad Matthews, yes, Chip, thank you very much. Flake, and who else we got in? I tried some Wendy beers this week, John. I'm giving it a miss from now. I'd rather not drink. Never heard of Wendy beers. That's a new one on me, mate. Hello, Craig. How are you, mate? So yes, it's been a bit of a week. I've well, I'm not even going to clock up how many hours I've put in because it would just make me ridiculous, but ridiculously depressed or happy, given the fact that business is good, but it's just haven't had time at all to do half of the things I needed to do. All those little jobs that you need to kind of get done, bits and pieces of guitar maintenance. You'll notice the black Harley Benton David Gilmour strap that's on the back wall behind me there. Lovely guitar, but unfortunately it's got some issues with the frets at the moment, and I'm going to have to give it a bit of a full level and crown and everything, and of course that's going to mean taking the fret zealot off it. But there is a replacement Strat. Let me show you it. First glimpse. Here we go. This arrived today. This is the Larry Carlton. This is the guitar that you saw me buying this morning. And by the magic of television, it's now here. Yes, it's if you're interested in what I think about this guitar, I'm not going to tell you now. You will have to watch the unboxing and first impressions video, which is going up tomorrow. So, watch out for that. What I will say is that, well, no, I won't say anything else. Just watch the video tomorrow, because I don't want to start dishing out spoilers, because I know what you lot are like. You'll start saying, tell us more, and none of you, then the video won't get as many views. Yeah, super glossy neck, Vince. It was ordered on Monday, Lee. It wasn't like really ordered this morning. I ordered it on, well, I have a confession about that, actually. The footage, that if you saw the video this morning of me ordering that very guitar, that was, shall we say, a reconstruction of events. It was just kind of, it was via the magic of the edit. last Sunday night, I had a bit of a virtual pub session with the lads on Microsoft Teams. We don't normally use Teams, but for reasons that are too long-winded to go into here now, we weren't using Zoom, we were using Teams. And I've never used Teams before, but what it did was after I'd finished and thought, right, I'll get that guitar ordered. And I did the usual screen capture thing, and I'm blethering away into the webcam and the mic and everything. Basically, Teams had completely disabled the microphone. Okay, Teams had gone, no, I own that microphone. No one else can use it. So the video was silent. So I had to kind of basically reproduce the video again. Luckily, all of the pages that you go through to when you order something from Thomann was still in me history, so I could kind of recreate it. But yes, that was, as I say, a little bit of the magic of the edit on that there. But I ordered it on Monday, and it was here this afternoon, about just gone midday. So that's pretty good. I mean, it's nice when you can get next day delivery, but you're not going to get next day delivery from Thomann to the UK. What's that? Wow, Thomann don't mess about shipping wise. Guitar looks very impressive. Yeah, I've only ever had one bad experience with Thomann in terms of shipping. It was, it was a couple of years ago. A guitar that I ordered, and got the acknowledgement of the order and everything, and then it was about a week before I got any kind of notification that it had been shipped. So in that intervening week, I was emailing them and saying what's going on, and you just get fobbed off with excuses about quality control and this, that and the other, and rigorous checks and everything. Truth be told, apparently what it was, they were updating their IT systems, and for a couple of days their systems were down. But I wish they'd just said that rather than kind of giving you the old flannel. Hello from Sweden, says Goran. Hello from what was a rather warm and sticky Redcar here today, but we've had a bit of a downpour in the last hour or so, and it's cleaned it up a bit. John, how long does delivery take at Thomann? Well, usually, as I say, I ordered that guitar on Monday, and it was here today, Friday. So just what's that? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 working days, which is about on average. The fastest guitar I've ever had from them was the very first one I had years ago, which was a Les Paul copy, the Harley Benton SC 450. I ordered that on the Sunday, and it was here on the Wednesday. Can you do a James Burton solo video, please? There's a thought, isn't there? Yes. Wasn't it James Burton who played the solo on Hello Mary Lou? I've always loved that solo. That might be one to look at. Yes. Hello from Bonnie, Scotland. Hello from, as I say, sticky and humid Redcar. It's damp, warm and sticky, an age-related accident. Thank you, Colin. Yeah, it's not quite that bad yet, mate. Let's put you up on screen there, mate. Oh, where are we? This one. There we go. I'm still getting used to this thing, putting stuff up on screen. New guitar day here. Got myself a Gibson Tribute Les Paul Tobacco Burst, and I love it. Never had such a nice guitar experience before. It almost plays on itself. I'm so pleased to hear that. There is nothing more satisfying than a new guitar and it turns up and it's beautiful, and nothing more disappointing than when it turns up and you've been waiting for it and you've been twitching at the curtain waiting for the DHL or the UPS van to arrive, and and is it them? Oh no, it isn't. It's just another van driving past, and eventually the van turns up and you're kind of filled with excitement and you get it out the box, and if it's not what you were wanting, if it's kind of just not very nice, that's one of the most disappointing guitar experiences, isn't it? I'm sure we've all had it from time to time. Oh, hello! I just see one of my ex-students is in. Jeff Proctor. How are you, mate? Here again, must be missing you. Yes, like you'd miss a toothache, mate, I suppose. Any reason you're not giving your Beer O'Clock Stick a Flake in It t-shirt an outing on your Beer O'Clock show? Well, the reason is I'm not giving an outing tonight is because it's in the wash. And I am looking at putting a couple of Beer O'Clock t-shirts up on Teespring. Again, file that under stuff that I haven't had time to do this week. Because Mike from China Guitar Skeptic very kindly did me a Stick a Flake in It graphic, which I'm going to put on a t-shirt, and there's the one that you sent me for the night out. It will be featuring in upcoming videos. It's just that it's in the what again, you know. Other things that we've had this week is we've had issues with the washing machine, so we've got a pile of laundry to wade through, but once it's clean it will be getting an airing. I'm not boycotting it, don't worry. Jimmy James says, I never buy online, so I never get that disappointment. Yeah, well, for me it's hello, I forgot to put my phone on silent. What's this all about? Excuse me a second. Oh yeah, nothing important. When you've got Amazon Prime, they do tend to like to remind you that, oh, there's a new show starting and you might want to watch it. Well, yeah, I'll anyway. So that's all that was. Where was it? Yeah, I'm a good long hike away from any decent guitar emporium, and this is going to be another flake pour, I can tell. I'm just going to let that settle for a bit. I'm a good long way away from any decent guitar emporium, so it's just easier to buy online, really. And if you don't like it, you can send it back. Did you ever use a guitar method book for learning, like Mel Bay? I think I got a Mel Bay book one Christmas off me Auntie Gladys. Everybody has an Auntie Gladys, don't they? It's like, our John is learning the guitar. Oh, and it was obviously second hand. She'd sort of probably seen it in a second hand bookshop or something, and bought me it. And it didn't come with a cassette that it was supposed to come with. So I smiled and thanked her and wrote the thank you letter, as you do when you're that age. And, but that's my only experience with Mel Bay. Other guitar, the one book that I really, did get into for a while as a real raw beginner was the Russ Shipton series of books, the Complete Guitar Player. I think I got to about book 2 or 3 on that, and by then I was just kind of learning more from just learning by ear and picking up things from records, and just figuring it out for myself, really. Where are we? How good actually was Bert Weedon? Well, he was of his time, wasn't he? Bert Weedon, Guitar Boogie Shuffle. I think it's not really a productive thing to do to judge a guitarist like Bert Weedon up against, kind of on a scale of 1 to 10 up against modern guitar players, because technically there are players at the moment who could play circles around him. But you ask all of the kind of the opinion formers and the influencers, your Claptons and your Jimmy Page and your Jeff Beck and people like and Gilmore and stuff. Most of those guys learned from Bert Weedon, and so if it wasn't for Bert, we wouldn't have had all of that 60s British blues boom, and then all the stuff that spawned from that. And I think I definitely remember hearing Richie Blackmore saying that he learned from a Bert Weedon book. So it's I mean, he was a very influential player and tutor. Now, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Get ready over the F to type FLAKE. There you go. How about that? Isn't that a beauty? Yes, it's the Carling Black Label. It pours like fairy liquid, and tastes very similar as well. Whedon versus Malmsteen. I will tell you, actually, there was a Fender clinic round here. Oh gosh, it's got to be thick end of 30 years ago, and it was an Yngwie Malmsteen was making an appearance plus special guest, and you know, at the beginning of the performance, like, you know, because there was a bit of a kind of demonstration or what have you, you know, the lights go down, the dry ice kind of billows out, and, you know, long slow minor chord on a keyboard, you know, and you hear this ferocious sweep picking and neoclassical shredding, and everybody in the audience is going, Yngwie, Yngwie, Yngwie. And do you know who walks out playing like that? Hank Marvin. Hank Marvin was shredding like Yngwie, and it was just, it was so bizarre. It was like watching water run uphill. It was just like, I shouldn't be seeing and hearing this at the same time. Oh, well, thank you very much, Craig. I'm entirely John Robson taught. Best way to learn guitar. You were a model student, mate. I'll give you that. Yeah, Malmsteen will never be as good as he thinks he is. Yes, well, it's very definitely a case of the ego has landed, isn't it? You've excelled yourself with that one, John. Double flake. I know, as I say, in my defence, it's just basically the cooking lager, the Carling. Get some decent lager, and I'll show you how to do it properly. Hank a shredder wasted on Cliff. Yeah. I mean, what, you know, I've said this many times before, but my routine on a morning when I'm first kind of getting my eyes to focus and you know, waiting for it to be light enough to take the dog out, because it's getting to the point on a morning now when you get up at stupid like I do, that another week or so I'm going to have to be taking a torch out to walk the dog. But anyway, as I'm just kind of easing myself into the day, cup of coffee, big pint mug of coffee. What I always do, I'm reading the paper on my phone and I'm listening to an album. I sit down and listen to an album end to end, first thing on the morning every day. And this morning it was The Shadows, 20 Golden Greats. And, you know, once you pass like Apache and FBI and maybe Man of Mystery and Foot Tapper, you know, the ones that you automatically think of, maybe Wonderful Land as well, you know, you forget just how many great melodies their tunes had. You know, and it just reaffirms my love for that style of playing. I might try and do some kind of video on Hank at some point. It's tricky though, because you know, when you're doing a solo, you know, it's that you can make the argument that, well, this is just improvised, it's just licks, it's not really a melody that you're stealing and kind of making a YouTube video about. But, you know, if I was to do Apache or something like that, then it would be, you know, tricky to argue that, I would say. Yeah, the original Strat. Oh, sorry, wrong one. This chat has a habit of moving every time I click on something and I put the wrong comment up on screen. His original Strat is on loan to Mr. Welsh. Yes, and Bruce doesn't seem to be in any hurry to give it back. You know, it's reportedly, I mean, shoot me down in flames if this is, you know, an apocryphal story, but reportedly Hank's Fiesta Red or Salmon Pink Strat, there's various different descriptions of the colour. Reportedly that was the first Strat in the UK. Because there was some sort of post-war import ban that stretched well into the 50s, and Hank was apparently playing some dog-awful Antoria guitar, and Cliff said, "I'll get you a good guitar. What do you want?" And he says, "I want the same thing that Buddy Holly's got." So Hank ordered him a Strat. "12 months wait for me. Just ordered a limited FCS Strat telly." Oh dear me, that's going to be quite the anticipation, isn't it? 12 months wait for a guitar. I don't know how you'll cope, mate. Good evening, Butch. How are you, mate? They finally gave me a notification for your live stream. Nice to be finally in the community. Yes, we're a friendly bunch here, mate. I hope you're having a beer. I hope you've got something cold and refreshing, to quaff during the hour. By the way, we haven't had the beer audit yet. What's everybody drinking this evening? You've seen me. I'm on the Carling for my sins. The cooking lager. What's everybody else on this evening? Have you ever played a guitar from Moon Guitars, the one Stuart Adamson used from Big Country? No, I haven't. But funny you should mention Stuart Adamson. There's a video coming up on one of his solos in a couple of weeks, or maybe a week. So we're on the Canadian in the UK is on the Porter Ale, Miller Lite from Greenwave, Radler from Tim Driver, Aldi Brasserie and Aldi's Wine. Oh, Grape and Grain, Aussie, you're going to suffer tomorrow, mate. Hobgoblin, says Graham Campbell. Yeah, see, I like Hobgoblin, but it doesn't like me. 1664, Spitfire. Craig's on the Spotty Chicken. Yes. Hi. Yes, if anybody doesn't know, Spotty Chicken is what we call old speckled hen. It's basically a hangover in a bottle. It's really, really good. Carlsberg export pint cans. Again, that's going to get messy, isn't it? I've just got a new job with quite a bit more money. I'm having a box of wine. A new guitar is on the horizon. Well, good for you, mate. A box of wine. Dear me, yes. That reminds me of my student days. Getting the old Liebfrau milk in the box. Or what else did we used to drink back then? You used to kind of weigh up cost versus alcohol content back in those days. Not that I do that now, of course. But bull's blood, this kind of rocket fuel Hungarian wine. The only problem was it tasted like battery acid, but it got the job done. John, have a listen. Let me put you up on screen there, Dan. John, have a listen to the Hank Marvin interview on Rick on Tour's podcast hosted by Gary Kemp and Guy Pratt. Lots of good interviews on there. Thank you, Dan. I will. Bob Contreras, how are you, mate? You're on the H2O. It's 11:20 a.m. there. Well, it's always 5 o'clock somewhere, Bob. Foster's do a 5% lager. They have done for a while, Brad. I remember being at, this will have been in the mid-90s. I was at a party, just a house party, where bring your own kind of thing. And one of the lads had brought some what just looked like regular cans of Foster's until you tasted them, and it was, oh, hello, this isn't what I was expecting, and that was a 5% beer back then. So I don't know where he got them from, but I do remember back in the 90s there was a Foster's kind of kind of full throttle turbocharged kind of thing. The Bohemian Rhapsody latest What Makes This Song Great Rick Beato video. Let me put you up on screen there, mate. The Bohemian Rhapsody latest What Makes His Song Great Rick Beato video was pretty cool with Brian May interviewed. I saw that, yes. Well, I haven't seen it, but I've seen it sort of crop up in my feed. With Brian, Brian May's on there. When's your interview with Slash going out for Night Train? Yes, we can but dream, can't we? Yes. I'll get in touch with his management and I'll say, I'm a fat, bald lad from the northeast of England, and I'd like to talk to Slash, please, because he's you know, I like his, yeah, it's not going to happen, is it? Oh, well, thank you very much. It's times like these, I wish I had all the gizmos that China Mike has, where he kind of puts all the graphics and the fanfares up on the screen. Thank you very much. You are a gentleman and a scholar. Let's raise a glass to Wilson. Thank you, mate. I'm a proper girly pants bud for me. Oh, dear me. Mind you, I tell you what, I've been... the warm weather this week, it has been a stoic effort to last all the way till Friday waiting for a beer, which is why I didn't. I might have had a couple of bottles of Heineken on Wednesday evening, but you know, when the doctor asks, I didn't. Did Elliot Randall of Steely Dan ever record with Jimi Hendrix? I heard they were jamming buddies. I've heard that as well. I'm sure that if there were some, long lost tapes of sessions and stuff, I'm sure they would have surfaced by now. Well, it would be nice to think that maybe one day they will surface, but yeah, not to my knowledge. What we're saying there, mate, let me put you up on the screen. Milk Shakespeare. Fair enough. Had to sell my Ibanez GS1 during first lockdown due to finances. Splurged on a CST 24T P90, partly due to reviews, to get going again, and will more than do the job. Yeah. I mean, my guitar journey is, I suspect, like a lot of middle-aged blokes. You know, you start kind of playing in the late 70s, which is when I did. And, you know, cheap guitars then were nasty, but that's all that you had. You know, that was all that you had access to, and you just accepted that as a fact of life. And, you know, you lusted after Fenders and Gibsons, and then, you know, you start kind of hearing that these Japanese guitars are pretty good, these Tokais and stuff, and they're a bit more affordable, so you set your sights on those, and eventually, you know, you kind of work, and then Squiers come on the scene, you know, in the early 80s, and yeah, and you know, and you start getting a foot on the ladder, and you work your way up, and by the time of the late 2000s, 2009-ish, you know, I was all PRS'd up, and I had a custom shop Strat, and it was, you know, life was fine. And then suddenly, boom, business goes off a cliff. And I've got to sell guitars to kind of make ends meet. And that's when I discovered, first of all, vintage guitars, and couldn't believe how good they were for the money. And then later discovered Harley Benton. And it was like, dearie me, cheap guitars have come on a lot since I was, you know, the last time I had no choice other than to get cheap guitars. And I mean, Guitar Max, you know, Max Carlisle, he's always saying that we live in a golden age of cheap guitars. You know, it's not surprising because, you know, I mean, if you look back into the late 70s, if you make the analogy with cars, you know, if you wanted, you know, cruise control and electric windows and all kinds of things on a car, then you were paying sort of serious money for a big executive saloon. But nowadays it's on those kind of things are on just your average hatchback, you know. So it's as time marches on, we get better at making good stuff for less money, and why wouldn't guitars be like that? Yeah, My favourite video is Rick Beato, of Rick Beato is Eric Johnson playing the solo from Stairway to Heaven. My favourite Rick Beato video is the one where it's one of his What Makes This Song Great. It's the one where he does More Than a Feeling. It's just when you hear that song picked apart like that, it's a fantastic song. We all know that. I used to do a radio show on a local community radio station. I remember kind of getting told off because the station manager says, "You keep playing that song every week," But, when you hear it sort of pulled to pieces and analysed, and Brad Delp's voice, dear me, what a singer he was. Do you have a lemon drop by Vintage? Great stuff. No, but Ozzy does. Mr. Mandius there in the chat, he's got a lemon drop. He's done some quite extensive mods to it, and, he's made what is a fantastic guitar already into a world beater from the videos I've seen of that he's put up on his channel. Fantastic stuff. The only thing that puts me off the Vintage lemon drop, because I am a massive Gary Moore fan and Peter Green fan, as many of you know, is I'm just not that into relic guitars, and it's not a particularly good relic job on the ones I've seen, let's say. But they do a non-relic version, but then it just looks like just another Les Paul copy then, so it's like, I wish they would do, actually. I wish Vintage would do the non-relic version, but in a satin finish. And I might even be tempted by that. Boston were a highly underrated band, still going by all accounts. Yeah, I've heard that, mate. Sea of Tranquility, which is another great YouTube channel. I've mentioned them in the last video I did about my 5 favourite YouTube channels, which was a while ago, it has to be said. I'm just checking the stock, seeing how many I've got left. They were talking about, because I knew there was the Boston album, the eponymous one, the first one, which we all know. And then there was Don't Look Back. And then there was Third Stage, which is a great album, it has to be said. And then after that, I thought that was it. But, there's still an incarnation of Boston going. I presume it's just Tom Schultz doing everything plus a singer, because, I guess, Brad Delp's no longer with us, is he? What is Ozymandias's YouTube channel called, please? I'm not entirely sure, but Ozzy, if you want to, after this live stream has finished, if you want to post in the comments a link to your channel, I'll pin the comment, mate. Where are we? Sorry, I start reading the chat and then it jumps. Where are we? Thomas Blug's signature is a Vintage, and he's a hell of a player. Yes, indeed. And absolutely gold carat, 24 carat gold plated is what I meant to say. Don't know why I couldn't get my words out then. 24 carat gold plated, nice bloke as well, from what I've seen of him. Just a real gentleman. He's one of those players, a bit like Guthrie Govan, that you get the sense he doesn't really know how good he is. Do you know what I mean? It's very humble about what he does. And, fantastic player. In the past 6 months, I've purchased a classic Vibe Telecaster and an Affinity Telly, and dare I say, the Affinity is better, in my opinion, says Ian Hunter. Yeah, the Affinity guitars are really nice guitars. The only thing, it's not a problem I have with it, but the thing that I prefer about the Classic Vibe over the Affinities is the Classic Vibe has through body stringing, and I don't want to get into the whole debate about whether that makes a big difference to the tone or not. What I will say is it makes a big difference to the feel. When I pick up a Telecaster, I like it to feel tight and stiff and taut, and like you've got to dig in a bit to kind of wrestle with the guitar. And through body stringing kind of is one ingredient in the DNA of a Telecaster that goes a long way to giving you that. I recently did, well, not recently, a few months ago, I did the through body stringing on the Glary Telecaster. I took a brave pill and drilled the holes, and it did make it feel more like a Telecaster. And I think it affects the tone in the way that, it affects the way you play. And if it affects the way you play, then that's going to affect, the sound that comes out. I know a few people that have had Jimi Hendrix playing in their homes just for fun jams that were recorded and haven't seen the light of day, and won't, because they are the family pension fund, I think you mean to say there, Dave. Yeah, well, I'm sure they'll surface one day, mate. The new Affinity tellies are string through. I hadn't seen that. I saw the Andertons. Get ready to type flake. It's going to happen. I saw the Andertons kind of, I would say review, but it's not really a review on Andertons, is it? Sales pitch, let's call it. I think that's fair to say, of the Affinity guitars. I must have missed. I must have missed the fact that the new ones were string through. Oh dear me, this is appalling again. Look at this. Yes, indeed. I'm not even going to fit it all in one pour. That is ridiculous. I'm just about to mod an old Pacifica 012 that I got a few years back for 30 quid in a charity shop. It already plays as nice as all my guitars, but needs decent electrics. Yep. If I could make the recommendation of Vanson pickups, I'm a big fan of their pickups. They are, they're just great pickups. They sound like, excuse me, I'm just mopping up spilt beer here. Yeah, those Vanson, especially if you're after a humbucker, the classic 57 PAF Alnico 2 one. It's those words. I'm not sure if it's in that order. Classic 57 Alnico 2 and PAF. They are a really, really good vintage sounding humbucker. And they do hotter ones as well. A big foam head keeps the beer fresh. I know, it's this bloody Carling. It pours like fairy liquid. I ordered a Thomas Blue strap, but the vintage Salty Dog turned up. It's a better guitar, I think, but looks like a fair ride. I'm not sure. I don't think I've seen the vintage Salty Dog. You've never changed pickups in any of your guitars? Oh, it is a bit of a rabbit hole you can go down. I do it nowadays when I want a different sound, but or if I'm not spoon for Mr. Robson, thank you, Bill. If I'm not 100% happy with the pickups that are in it, but I do know some people that it's like they have a different set of pickups every week almost. They change the pickups, some people more often than they change the socks. I did a Hello Kitty strap modded with a Seymour Duncan pickup for my ex-wife, who loved Hello Kitty. Sadly, I didn't get to keep it. Perhaps it's a measure of how much of a middle-aged, boring old fart that I am, that I have no idea what Hello Kitty is. Yeah, Jimmy, you say you put a P-rail in your PRS SE, excuse me, wrong one. Again, the chat moved just as I was clicking there. Put a P rail in my PRS SE. It's great fun with 4 tones. I have been curious about those PRS, about those P rail pickups. I mean to say the Seymour Duncan ones, because as I understand it, it's a humbucker, a P90, and a single coil all in one pickup, and you can sort of combine them in various different ways. The only thing that sort of puts me off is I absolutely know it would be just option anxiety for me. It's like, well, what sound do I want? And so that's the only thing with me. I do like versatile guitars, but I like simple guitars as well. Yes, Malcolm, if I want a different sound, I use a different guitar. Well, you've got a few to choose from. I promise I will be in touch over the weekend, and we will set up that that Zoom call, mate. I feel really kind of bad that I didn't get back to you this week, but as I say, the week from hell. Am I the only one who thinks PRS and overpriced and overhyped garbage? I wouldn't say it that strongly. I'll be honest. I wouldn't, kind of go. They are exquisitely built, and put yourself in this situation, right? Put yourself in the situation that you are Paul Reed Smith, and your company accountant walks into your office and says, "Do you know? I think we could be charging a bit extra on top of, what we're charging for these guitars, simply because we've got a really good, a really good kind of prestige brand here, and, it'll improve the profit margin, and we can probably, invest in more stuff, and, all the stuff that companies do with profits. You would do it. And that's just the way the world is. If you've got something that people are willing to pay a premium for, a brand that people will, pay more for, then, it finds its own level. My opinion of PRS guitars are that they are exquisitely built. They are, to a certain, once you start getting up the range a little bit, they do fall into the category of what I call Liberace guitars. But I've never really played one that's made me go, "Ooh, I've got to keep this. I've got to own this." There's just nothing about them that there's no kind of, I don't want to say character, but that's the only word I can think of. They're very blank canvas guitars, PRS. They're beautifully built. They look gorgeous, if you like that kind of aesthetic. But there's nothing about them that makes me feel, yeah, this is the guitar I want to play for the rest of my life. Fender player or PRS SE? Well, hard to choose there, really. As you know, I just recently had the Fender Player Strat in here, and that was a guitar I really made a sterling effort to bond with, and it just never happened. But out of the two, I suppose it comes down to whether you prefer single coil or humbuckers, really. Surely Liberace plays piano, yes, but if he'd played guitar, he would have played a PRS, is what I'm saying. It's maybe I should have described it as a Katie Price guitar or Colleen Rooney. The SE not a keeper then, John? No, Bob, no. Well, I had the SE Mira in here a while ago, and as I said at the time, it was the nicest PRS SE that I'd ever played. And I've had a few through my hands, but it was still, again, it just didn't make me think, I can't live without this guitar. So, I was offered a good price for it, and out the door it went. Fender player, the old Mexican standard, now built in Mexico. That's what I thought, Kevin. Yes, check out the Strat shootout from last week on this channel, where I put my Fender player up against Bottleneck Bob's American Standard. There were differences, but whether the differences add up to enough to, kind of justify the price difference is, well, it's debatable, let's say. Fender player HH Telly is the one for you, John. Yeah, here's the thing, though. I've already got a twin humbucker Telecaster, and I quite like this guitar. Thank you, Dan. You're a true artisan, mate. I know I get this. I never miss an opportunity in these live streams to pick this up and just kind of show you the top on this guitar. Now, a few people actually have pulled me up and said, "Oh, your comment about Liberace guitars." This was in the video that I did on Tuesday about guitars that make me go nah. One of the categories of guitars that really just don't float my boat are overly opulent, kind of over the top guitars. And a few people said, "Oh yeah, but you've got guitars with flame maple tops and this, that, and the other." It's just a combination of things that there's a very fine line between, luxurious and ostentatious. And, some guitars cross that line for me. It's when you start kind of flinging gold plate and mother of pearl and abalone and, and the one thing that really, really don't like at all is, when you get these wacky coloured sunbursts, like, sunburst should be like a traditional kind of tobacco burst or, iced tea or something like that. When you get like a green sunburst or a lurid purple sunburst or something like that, then to me it's just kind of look at the shiny, and it doesn't do it for me, really, that kind of thing. I have a Fender USA, but so far my Sire S7 can handle the comparison. Well, yeah, as you saw at the beginning earlier on in the live stream, I've got this arrived today, the Sire S7, yeah. Before I give too much away, I'm not going to chuck spoilers out there. Watch the video tomorrow. I've got a Tom Anderson. Let me put you up on screen there, Graham. I can read it easier when it's on the big screen. I've got a Tom Anderson Atom with a flame top, but it's aged nicely. It took me a long time to bond with and break in, but it's a fine guitar now. Yes. The Atom, isn't that the sort of the vaguely Les Paul shaped thing, from Tom Anderson? I might be wrong on that one. Bill Bailey Six Neck is a classic. Yeah, that's very much like the what's he called? The chap out at Cheap Trick. Forget his name, but didn't he have like a ridiculous 5 or 6 neck guitar? Hi, John. Have you ever considered trialing a few acoustic guitars? Yes, I have actually. But I run into the same problem with I have with doing videos about amps. It's not the easiest thing in the world for me to mic stuff up. I don't have the space to have big mic stands all over the place, and and it's a small room, this, and plus I don't have the expertise at miking stuff up. So it is something I would like to get into, doing amp reviews. I've done a couple in the past, but not that many, doing amp reviews and doing acoustic reviews. But I just get the feeling that I'm not doing whatever it is that I'm reviewing in that sense justice, because if I'm reviewing an acoustic, then if it's an electroacoustic, I'm just going to be going with a plugged in sound rather than the mic'd up sound. And it's you know, I'm aware of my shortcomings when it comes to, you know, kind of the studio engineering, miking stuff up kind of side of things, really. And as I say, space is tight. Took a punt on a Bajera 6260 combo 2B12 all valve from eBay recently, described as refurbished but was actually new. Is a total beast, fabulous sound. I'm in love. Any views on Bajeras? Cheers. Yes, Bajera amps are fantastic. I was sold on them when I went to see a local band play a couple of 3 years ago. And the guitarist was using the V22 Infinium, little 22 watt amp, and he was louder than Satan. You know, he was, he was like properly. This is just a pub gig. You know, he wasn't mic'd up or anything like that. And what a tone he was getting. A lot of acoustic players use Shure SM75. I think you mean 57, is it, or 75? I don't know. For recording, indeed. But there is an art to where you place the mic, and you know, and stuff like that. It's something I am pondering on, and you know, kind of, there is going to be a bit of a rearrangement of this room at some point, which will hopefully give me more room and. I'm looking at, you know, maybe some acoustic treatment as well, and you know, various bits and pieces. So it's something that's on my mind. Let's say, Mr. Robson, your Wednesday vid was great. Been trying to work that out for 8. No, excuse me, the chat's gone up. Let me put you up on screen there, Johnny. Mr. Robson, your Wednesday vid was great. Been trying to work out that for ages with no luck because I can't remember. Thank you. Your view on that vid will go up. Well, thank you very much, Johnny. That is, you're talking about the Pentatonic wheel. My recently discovered, I have to say, alternative to mapping the neck out as an alternative to the caged system. It's something I've been doing for a while without realizing it, and it was only when I was talking it through to to a student that it dawned on me how I was thinking. Are you off, Bob? Have a great week, Bob, and I'll see you next weekend, mate. When we have our John, what's on next week? I forgot to mention. Yes, haven't I? What's happening on the channel next week? How can I have forgotten that? We're nearly at the end of the video, at the live stream. Next week, well, tomorrow morning, I'm going to try and get it up for 10 a.m. There will be the unboxing and first impressions of the Sire Larry Carlton. Then on Sunday, it is the video where I'm doing the soloing with that pentatonic wheel, kind of method that I talked about on Wednesday. Monday's video is, I've been getting a lot of requests for some stuff by this chap. We're looking at a classic bit of Kossoff, something from the first album, Tons of Sobs. It's one of the solos from that album. Then Tuesday, as a sort of counterbalance to the guitars that make me go, nah, it's the guitars that make me go, yeah. Wednesday, what have I got on Wednesday? I can't remember what Wednesday's video is. Have I made Wednesday's video? Let me just check. I'm sure I've uploaded something for Wednesday. Gosh, this is embarrassing. Wednesday's video is, and I will tell you in just a second. Come on. Yes, it's another Pentatonic video. It's called Building the Boxes. It's basically, a way of looking at the Pentatonic boxes that hopefully helps you remember them. Thursday's video is going to be the shakedown of this guitar, a guitar that was built for me by a chap called Peter, who just turned up last week and said, "I built you a guitar. Here, have this guitar." So we're going to be looking at this guitar on Thursday, and then as I always say at this point, on Friday, we're back on the beer again. So that's... have you tried the Harley Benton Doulahan FT? No, I haven't. How do you feel about Gary Moore as a guitar player? You're obviously new here, but J Bob. Yeah, Gary Moore is probably, I would have to say, my all-time favourite guitar player. You know, I've followed his career since the early 80s, and, you know, not 100% in love with some of his later albums, but, you know, Still Got the Blues is up there. You know, that's my favourite album, and then we can talk about, you know, what is my second favourite or third favourite or whatever. But right at the top of the tree, Gary is, you know, is the man as far as I'm concerned. Have you ever sold a guitar then wished you hadn't? Many. Les, check out a video that I did, I think, a couple of weeks ago called Seller's Remorse. You know, guitars that I wished I'd never parted with. You know, there's well, a few. Not all of them were great guitars, but, you know, like my first ever electric guitar, which was a Woolworths Top 20. I wish I still had that. And have you heard of Ben Poole? Can't say I have, mate. I would love to hear your version of Nuclear Attack by Gary Moore. Yeah, that's a great track, isn't it? Especially the version on the Live in Japan album, Rockin' Every Night. That was a great version of that on there. Where are we? My favourite guitarist is Richard Thompson. I saw him with Fairport in 1968. Yeah, a lot of time for Richard. Again, he's sort of on the periphery of my awareness, but the stuff that I've heard of him is, you know, it's impressive, shall we say. Everybody's got regrets about gear they've sold. Yeah. It's debatable what's worse, regretting something that you've sold or regretting something that you've bought. Anyway, chaps, that was my last beer. And we've been on roughly an hour, so I've timed it just about right today. So I've got a curry arriving very shortly, so I'm going to take this opportunity once again to say thank you so much for turning up and watching a bald, fat northern lad talk cobblers for an hour. It's been a blast, and we'll do it all again next week. So for now, I'm going to say, time, gentlemen, please.